Osrc News at 7. Ondo State government dredges small waterways to prevent flooding. Military officers safeguard farmers from herders' aggression in Ondo State. Ebonyi government raises minimum wage to 90,000 naira. And from the foreign scene, European leaders express outrage after Russian strikes kill 19 people, damage EU building.
Good evening. Welcome to Osrc News at 7. My name is Oduayo Sawyer. The Ondo State government has deployed military officers to farmlands and forest reserves to protect farmers from frequent herders' attacks and safeguard food production across the state. The move follows recent killings and displacement of farmers in the Ala axis of Akure North local government area by suspected herders. Senior Special Assistants to Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa on agriculture and agribusiness, Rotimi Akishola, said the deployment is part of wider efforts to strengthen food security, create jobs, and attract investment in agribusiness. According to him, over 22 military officers have been stationed in Ala to secure the land, reclaim encroached forest reserves, and restore confidence for farmers and investors. He explained that agriculture remains central to Governor Aiyedatiwa's economic blueprint, not only for food sufficiency, but also for youth empowerment through structured farming clusters. The President administration in Ondo State says it is committed to safeguarding existing tourist sites while exploring new opportunities to attract both local and international investors. State Commissioner for Culture and Tourism, Osrc Afolabi, gave the assurance at a technical stakeholders meeting convened by the Ondo State Ministry of Culture and Tourism to validate Nigeria's draft national tourism policy. Our correspondent, Uzemo Ibiemi, was there, and his report is presented from our studio.
The federal government is currently working on a revised national tourism policy aimed at repositioning Nigeria's tourism sector as a major driver of economic growth. As part of the validation process, the Ondo State Ministry of Culture and Tourism gathered stakeholders in Akure to review the draft policy and harmonize inputs that reflect the realities of the industry. Addressing participants, the State Commissioner for Culture and Tourism, Osrc Afolabi, noted that the review of the national tourism policy is in its final stages. He explained that the Federal Ministry of Arts, Culture, Tourism, and Creative Economy is collaborating with the Nigerian Economic Summit Group to ensure the policy supports sustainable economic development.
Before we have a public-private partnership, but the new tool now is a public-private community partnership. So we want to develop the sites and the resource centers for the benefit of the community, and they will be engaged. And there will be a profit sharing. We also want to commercialize it, so we should generate revenue and vis-a-vis employment.
According to Afolabi, the state government considered it necessary to host stakeholders to examine the draft policy and provide submissions that will strengthen Nigeria's tourism framework.
The community, the technical partners on tourism, the hoteliers, all those in the hospitality industry. We just want to collate their views on the proposed national policy on tourism.
The Director of Tourism, Adiola Ademiola, and the Administrative Secretary, Adeyemi Okesule, also highlighted the significance of stakeholder contributions in shaping a practical and inclusive policy for the sector.
We in Ondo State, we felt that there's a need to gather stakeholders in the industry for them to, sit down, let us have their submission, contribution in respect of the existing national tourism policy vis-a-vis the new tourism policies that is currently in the pipeline. So what we are doing today in essence is to have their own submission on what they think is important or relevant that government should do that will assist or aid the development and growth of tourism in Nigeria.
The colleagues, stakeholders meeting, engage them in a useful discussion so that we can elicit their inputs and contributions so that we have something to take to the validation review meeting that
Participants at the meeting urged governments to address persistent challenges such as poor infrastructure, insecurity, and low investment in tourism. They emphasized the need for a conducive environment to enable the industry to thrive and contribute meaningfully to the economy.
Traditionally seen as a natural disaster, flooding is increasingly becoming a pressing challenge for residents in Nigeria as NIMET's annual forecast instills fear in many people's mind. Omori Olangbeji, who visited some flashpoints in Akure, reports that water dredging is still ongoing, especially in Akure, the state capital.
Year in, year out, Ondo State has maintained the status among vulnerable places in Nigeria prone to flooding on NIMET's list. In the latest forecast, Ondo State made the list of top states to experience the disaster in the country. Some flashpoints in Akure and Ondo State annually record losses of lives and property.
3 years ago, 2 people got drowned through this water. And anytime it rains like this, we are always kept indoors.
To address this, Ondo State government embarked on early dredging of waterways across the state. Visits to places in Akure and other local government areas show evidences of government efforts as the waterways are not just being expanded but also deeper than it was. Water is now moving freely in several places like Ala River, with Osrc Water, Adesupa, Oritaobele and others.
ṣùgbọ́n a dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ àwọn tó ń ṣe iṣẹ́ yìí lórúkọ Jésù Ọlọ́run á túbọ̀ máa fún wọn lókun àti agbára.
Bí mo ṣe rí machine báyìí inú mi dùn èmi ní ìgbàgbọ́ pé lágbára Ọlọ́run ràn wọ́n lọ́wọ́ láti lè ṣe débi tí a fẹ́ kó má affect wa mọ́.
Residents, however, called for more comprehensive solutions, including the reconstruction of the Fiwashaye Bridge, which, according to them, is too small to handle the water volume.
That bridge at Fiwashaye, that bridge had to be they need to remove that bridge and put the wider one that can. Because by the time water is passing that place, at times it needs to block. Some refuge that is backing along to block and water will bounce back and going to destroy our property.
Gbogbo mi Àkúrẹ́ gbogbo tójó tí rọ̀ gbogbo ibi ló máa padà sí. So this is omi bí ṣe máa high ni. So omi tó dẹ̀ ń pa ní canal ó high ju àdúgbò yìí lọ. So tó bá ti wá ga sókè bẹ́ẹ̀ á yà sádùúgbò. So tó bá lè bá a ṣe bó ṣe ṣe kó fẹ́ kó ṣe concrete sí. So we so happy.
Reacting, Special Assistant to Governor Ayedatiwa on flood control and related matters, Elisha Ebijimi, explained the process confirming the Fiwashaye Culvert a major spot for flood control in the state capital. While assuring residents of a flood-free town, the governor's aide confirmed that flashpoints in the state have been addressed and promised continuous efforts to secure against the natural disaster.
We have so many channels joined to Allah. I give this place, this is what we call secondary. So we have so many primary that are joined to this channel. After this channel go to Obaile, and Obaile have never been addressed before. So now, after this place, we are going to Obaile to address that point to discharge the water, because all this water discharge to Obaile.
from this port, where two major canals in Akure, Ala and Osrc meet. This amphibious excavator will move to Obaili, another major flashpoint in the state capital. Omoriola Mbiji, Osrc News.
Still ahead, market stalls, shops closed for annual Amole Festival in Akure, the Edo State capital. This and more after this time out.
On the 11th of November, I went to the Nigerian High Commission to sort out my passport. I did my biometrics and everything. And guess what? 48 hours later, at 6 minutes past 11 on the 13th of November, I have one passport.
Tireless effort or renovation and rejigging the Ministry of Interior passports issuance lessen the frustration of Nigerian homes and abroad on the time that has been taken. You've created a change in the dynamic and the game.
Grassroots Movement for Tinubu GMT, Ondo State Chapter. GMT, in God we trust.
The MTN Mega Billion promo is here. Dial star 900 hash and recharge 100 naira or more before 5 p.m. and you could be a millionaire. At 7 p.m., all cash prizes will be paid directly into your Momo account. Dial star 900 hash. Start recharging now and stand a chance to win big in the MTN Mega Billion promo.
Still Osrc News at 7. You can watch us live on our website www.osrc.ng or follow us on Facebook at Osrc TV, and on YouTube you can subscribe to our channel Osrc TV Ondo. Moving on, market stalls and shops in Akure will be shut tomorrow in observance of the annual traditional Amuli Festival. According to an aide of the DG, Adeye Michael, markets in Akure will be shut, while same restriction will apply to trading and opening of shops during the festival. The kingdom advised residents, market women, and shop owners to comply with the directive for strict observance of the rules. Due to the importance attached to the health sector, only pharmacy shops and patent medicine stores are exempted from the closure during the festival. Inhabitants and travelers have been assured by the kingdom that the festival will not in any way restrict both human and vehicular movement. Director General and Chief Executive Officer, Ondo State Radio Vision Corporation, Kenneth Odushola Stevenson, has assured of his collaborations with retired veterans of the corporation to transform the media group for optimal performance. Odushola Stevenson gave the assurance while playing host to the Nigerian Union of Pensioners, Osrc chapter, at the station headquarters in Akure. Joy Pius now completes the story.
Members of Nigerian Union of Pensioners, Osrc chapter, paid a familiarization visit to the management to dialogue on ways to foster a positive relationship. Chairman of the union, Iman Adumashi, acknowledged the tremendous progress the organization is making in terms of quality content delivery to the public. Adumashi took the management down memory lane on the ethics of the profession, urging for more consistency and adherence to the rules guiding the profession, while making demands on critical issues affecting the union.
Osrc is the defense station in Ondo State. It's the father and mother of all. and yet it's a common enemy of all. If you are aware of this, you have to perform actively well to excel and beat their balls all the time. Our programming requires old hands sometimes. When you go to these small stations, you'll find old producers, presenters, anchoring programs, presenting programs. I mean, OSRC staff, in fact, they are chief executives of these small stations. Name them, they are there. Why are we not celebrating our own, using those who have passed through this place before to participate in our program, production, and presentation? Only that's all.
Responding, Director General of OSRC, Kenneth Odushola Stevenson, assured that the station will not relent in tapping from the wealth of experience of the veterans to add value to the organization, adding that various requests made would be addressed in due time.
We have seen that you left this place with the best of human capital. And I want to thank you. Thank you that you have always been the one asking for interaction with your former colleague, and for the fact that you are still following up on the industry's development is just what I would like to call passion and professionalism. We are trying to put together our training department so that we can actually train people who are interested in this industry and people who are even here to look at what is evolving globally and how they can also meet up with the challenges of the time. So we will be needing your wealth of experience.
For the pensioners, the visit is to maintain ties with the organization towards ensuring a strong working relationship. Joy Pius, OSRC News.
And in Ebonyi State, the government has announced an increase in the minimum wage of state civil servants from 70,000 to 90,000 naira. The State Commissioner for Information and Orientation, Ikeowa Omebe, made the disclosure while briefing newsmen on the outcome of the State Executive Council meeting. Omebe explained that the increase was to enhance workers' welfare, saying the implementation is with immediate effect and covers all categories of the workforce. He also said the ESCO considered implementation of the 8-year tenure policy for directors and immediate retirement of those who have served for the period on the same cadre. The Nigerian Immigration Service has announced an upward review of the cost of obtaining the Nigerian Standard Passport effective September 1, 2025. According to the Service Public Relations Officer, Akeshola Akinabi, the new fees will apply only to applications made within Nigeria. Akinabi said the review now sets a new fee threshold for 32-page with 5-year validity at 100,000 naira and 64-page with 10-year validity as 200,000 naira. However, the statement clarifies that application fees for Nigerians in the diaspora remain unchanged at $150 for the 32-page 5-year passport and $230 for the 64-page 10-year passport. And in politics, former Rivers State Governor Rotimi Amechi has reaffirmed his ambition to contest the 2027 presidential election on the platform of the African Democratic Congress. Amechi made his intention known in Kano after a meeting with a coalition of traders. The former Minister of Transportation vowed not to step down for any aspirant in the party's primary election. Amechi stressed that the ADC must conduct an open contest, adding that internal democracy will strengthen the party. He took a swipe at the Bola Tinubu administration, alleging that Nigerians were dissatisfied with its policies. According to him, hardship was biting hard across the country. We'll take another break. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
The MTN Mega Billion promo is here.
Mega Billion promo.
Dial star 900 hash and recharge 100 naira or more before 5 p.m. and you could be a millionaire. At 7 p.m., all cash prizes will be paid directly into your Momo account. Dial star 900 hash. Start recharging now and stand a chance to win big in the MTN Mega Billion promo.
On the foreign scene, the head of the European Union's Executive Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, has spoken of her outrage at Russia's deadliest onslaught on Kiev since July, which also damaged the EU's delegation office in the Ukrainian capital. In a strongly worded statement, von der Leyen said Russian missiles struck in close proximity to the diplomatic mission. At least 19 people, including 4 children, were killed and dozens more injured in the bombardment. A 5-story residential building was destroyed and the EU mission and nearby British Council were damaged. Ukrainian forces said Russia had fired almost 600 drones and more than 30 ballistic and cruise missiles, the biggest attack on the capital this month. Devastating floods in South Asia have claimed many lives. Weeks of record-breaking rainfall have triggered widespread flooding, claiming hundreds of lives and isolating entire communities. In India's Himachal Pradesh province, residents watch helplessly as buildings collapse into swollen rivers, while in Indian-administered Kashmir, landslides have killed dozens on a pilgrimage route. The deluge has caused extensive damage to infrastructure, hampering rescue efforts. The crisis has spilled across borders, with India releasing water from upstream dams and warning Pakistan of impending floods. In Pakistan alone, nearly 800 people have perished during this year's monsoon season. Blessing Obe has more.
In northern Indian Himachal Pradesh province, people can do nothing but watch as buildings into flood. Displacing tens of thousands. Inside Kashmir, 2 people were killed by landslides. The signs, damage of roads, collapsed bridges. More than 260 millimeters of rain fell in the region on Tuesday only. People are being warned not to attempt any journeys and to stay away from river banks. In the first diplomatic contact between the two countries in months, India warned Pakistan of imminent floods as it released water from upstream dams. That has contributed to flooding in the Punjab region on both sides of the border. Thousands of people had to be moved to safety as rivers burst their banks.
Our houses were submerged and everything was destroyed. Mostly mud houses collapsed. We saved our animals and children.
And flooded farms. Nearly 800 have died in Pakistan in this year's monsoon season, and with more heavy rain forecast across the region, there is little hope the waters will subside soon. Blessing Obe, Osrc News.
Dengue fever cases have surged in Sudan during the ongoing rainy season, with many residents pointing to poor sanitation and increased mosquito breeding as key factors behind the outbreak. The rainy weather has created ideal conditions for mosquitoes to multiply, exacerbating the spread of the disease. Health officials are urging communities to improve sanitation and take preventive measures to curb the rising number of infections. Olabamijo Ogundowale has the report.
Sudan is struggling with an increase in dengue fever among other diseases during the current rainy season. The Sudan Health Ministry said in the past week, 723 new dengue fever cases were recorded, along with 2 deaths. Since the start of 2025, there have been over 6,000 cases and 9 total deaths. Residents say the lack of public sanitation and pooling of rainwater has led to the spread of mosquitoes carrying the infection, exacerbating the problem.
We suffer from the accumulation of rubbish because the municipality does not remove it on a regular basis. They could come once or twice a month, and as you see, this rubbish bin has been like this for almost a month without anyone removing the rubbish inside. This is in addition to the weed and dirt accumulating in the main drains. This has caused us major problems in the area. The reproduction of mosquitoes, especially in the weed surrounding the drains, are very numerous.
Dengue fever is endemic in Sudan. It can be more severe and sometimes fatal or repeat infection, making its containment a long-term concern. Olabamijo Ogundowole, Osrc News.
The report we end the Osrc News at 7, but before we go, another look at the major stories. The Ondo State government has deployed military personnel to protect farmers from herders' attack. The move, according to Governor's aide Rotimi Akishola, is to safeguard food production across the state. And Ondo State government continues to mitigate the effect of flooding through the dredging of more waterways. We told you that the Ebonyi State government has announced an increase in the minimum wage of 8 civil servants from 70,000 naira to 90,000 naira. And from the foreign scene, European Union leaders have expressed outrage following the killing by Russia of 19 people in Ukraine and the partial destruction of its delegation office in Kiev. And that's the news. My name is Odunayo Soya. Good evening.
Go.